Hello, good morning and welcome to P&B Morning Show. My name is Isa. No, just so much to discuss this morning, and definitely many Nigerians are happy with the weather condition here in Abuja. There are so many issues that took place yesterday, and so many news coming up from the courts, from the roadside, from the economic impact of what the policy of government is all about. And there are so many issues. And if I can take you through some of these issues, you get to understand that there are so many issues that our leaders actually have to deal with. But then we as citizens of this country, what then is our responsibility? We've elected these people, they are in position. Should we continue questioning them, or we should allow them to work? So some of these issues are the issues that we'll be discussing this morning, and definitely so many Nigerians will be delighted to hear that, yes, we are actually having major progress in some aspects of the economy, but then still there are still certain setbacks that needs to be dealt with by with respect to the leadership of the country. So we'll go on a very short break, and when we return, we'll be focusing still on one of the major issues that took place just yesterday. The former governor of Kogi State, Governor Yahaya Bello, was returned, or probably let me say, he was sent to the Kuje prison until February 20th of next year. And there are so many issues that definitely will be discussed during that particular period of time. And one of the major issues that was raised was why would he had filed for bail even before he submitted himself to the EFCC. So these are some of the issues that we'll definitely be looking out for, and how we can actually look at it from the legal perspective. And that's the more reason why we are here today, to give you a more enlightened position on this particular issue. So we'll go on a break, and when we return, we commence with the conversation with Barrister Salisu Zigao, who is a lawyer and also a doctor in that profession. So let's go for the break. Welcome back from that mad break. And just before the break, I did inform you that we'll be joining Barrister Salisu Zigao from here in Abuja, who will be actually be giving us more with respect to what happened with respect to the Bello's case and so many issues before now. We understand the brawl between the EFCC and the former governor of Kogi State, and the issue of money laundering, the issue of trying as much as possible not to obey court orders, and this has actually spurred into so many issues on our criminal justice system. We also understand that Dele Farotimi were the case with senior lawyer Afe Babalola. The issue has been there. And then one major issue that Nigerians raised yesterday was how the issue of Dele Farotimi got an accelerated court hearing with respect to how he was actually charged. He was actually charged, and that has actually spurred so many reactions from many Nigerians that are actually listening and also watching the activities of the court and how they react to persons. And then the question that was actually raised was that when you look at the situation between that of Afe Babalola and Dele Farotimi, and then you compare that with between the EFCC and Yahaya Bello, there seemed to be a kind of fast one for Afe Babalola and Dele Farotimi, and then Yahaya Bello versus the EFCC, or the EFCC versus Yahaya Bello. Either way. So these are some of the issues that many Nigerians are actually concerned on our criminal justice system, how it is actually progressing, or we are still in a still. So, Barrister, good morning and welcome to the PNB Morning Show.
Hello, good morning.
It's nice having you this morning, and so much happened between yesterday and day before. With the issue of Yahaya Bello, Barrister, what do you think? Are we actually getting it right at this particular point in time?
Good morning, viewers. What actually happened yesterday in Yahaya Bello's case is not something that happened, and it's not an exceptional tragedy. And then if people just remember the history, it happened to so many ex or past governors. Yahaya Bello's case yesterday, it was not an exception. What actually happened, the people are getting concerned. As far as I'm concerned, we get it right. My simple reason is that previously, Governor seems to be, because of the political reason, when he was in power, he can do and undo. He will abuse his office. He will involve himself in corruption and so many other dirty deals. And at the end of it, then he is scot-free. But as time goes on, the simple fact for the governor to get that to do this kind of thing, because the immunity they have while they are in power. If you look at our constitution under section 308 of the 1991 constitutions, the governor and the president has an immunity while in office. So having seen that, so they are power drunk, and then they commit and so many atrocities, so many corruptions, they can do and undo. And then so many things previously, and like I said before in the background, that at the end of it, nobody challenged them. If you take them to court because of the political reason, the governor cannot be prosecuted or tried. But as time goes on, we have started seeing governors are taken to court, like the case of Ibori. I think one of the classical cases that people will remember easily is the case of Ibori. Yes, Ibori, when he was a governor, he abused his office to the tune of billions of 250 million at that time. $250 million was as a money laundering. He laundered money to the tune of, if I remember rightly, to the tune of 250 million. So he was tried in UK court, and he was found guilty. But later, like I said, because of the political reasons, I think he was jailed 4 years. The case happened in 2019, if I'm right. He served, I think, for 2 years. But the jail term was 2 years. When the case was transferred to the court based on technicalities, then James Ibori's case was not found guilty, despite the fact that he was found guilty for money laundering in UK court. That's happened. And you can remember Sullivan Sylvan governor of I think Enugu State.
Enugu State. Ime Sullivan.
Yeah, Ime Silva. I think which was the governor in Enugu State. He was tried in court, but Sullivan case was taken to court, but he was not convicted, like James Ibori. Another case, governor, I think was Jolly Inyami. Jolly Inyami too. He abused his office when he was the sitting governor because he had immunity. I think the case was 1.something billion naira. He appealed, he lost on appeal. The matter was taken to, they reached up to the Supreme Court. Even at the Supreme Court, he lost, and he was jailed in prison. It was later then President Buhari, under amnesty, just he released him. So they even allow Akala in Oyo State, I think it's Oyo State, allow Akala too. He too, when he was a sitting governor, he abused his office and he was jailed. And there are so many other sitting governors that are taken to court, which unlike before, if you tell somebody, forefather, that somebody, a sitting governor, will take him to court, and nobody can believe that. As times goes on, after finishing their tenure, because of that immunity clause under Section 308 of the 19 Constitutions, so nobody, even if they commit criminal or civil matter, nobody will take them to court. But I want to tell the listeners and viewers to understand, but there is an exception. There is an exception to that rule. A sitting governor can be taken to court for criminal and civil matters.
But are Nigerians aware of this particular aspect where governors can actually be taken to court? Because we've seen on several counts where governors have been taken to court and then they disobey court orders. We've seen situations whereby governors have been petitioned for them in order to stop them for carrying out certain actions in their state, but then they disobey these court orders.
Yes, the issue is just the people are not aware. It doesn't mean that the issue don't exist. We are not talking about the law, whether the people, it's not the business of the law for people to know whether to know it or not. Yes, but the law is there, and the law is clearly stated. So whether the citizens of the country are aware of that provisions or aware of that law, that is immaterial. As long as the law is there, that's the issue. There are situations that a sitting governor can be taken to court despite the fact that he has immunity. In the case of abuse of fundamental human rights, a sitting governor can be taken to court. I have to get the point.
Yeah, I got the point because
I can give you so many scenarios, like Gani Fawi of the blessed memory.
Yes,
he has several cases where he took not only the sitting governor, military president, military head of states, so many governors. I think there's hardly a president during Gani Fawi to not take to court. I don't think there's a military head of state that Gani Fawi did not take to court. Because under that provision, like I said, in the case of breach of fundamental human rights, even with that immunity, the sitting governor can be taken to court.
But the issue of taking them to court, Barrister.
In the case of abuse of office, if
yes,
a sitting governor abuses his power,
yes,
even if a case the citizen has abused his power, so even the citizens have the right to challenge him in the court of law.
But we've seen several cases. We've seen several cases.
The fact that he is democratically elected as a governor, we see several situations that I cannot remember easily. You as a journalist, you can remember a situation whereby governor has a case, governor versus somebody, versus individual, versus company, versus so many other things because of this exception.
But Barrister, one critical issue here is this. The issue of them being taken to court is one particular aspect. There are situations where the court will even pass judgment but they disobeyed his judgment. We've seen it, for instance, in Kaduna State during the former governor's tenure, when there was an issue between the governor and then that of the teachers of the state. And he actually did not followed up with that order from the court. He went ahead to do what he wanted to do. And several governors are actually found wanting when it comes to the issue of the court. My problem here is, why is it that it is difficult for them to actually accept the judicial stance on issue?
So, this is a very simple question. For somebody, whether in the eyes of law, everybody is equality before the law.
Yes.
So the law has sanctions for disobedience, be it governor, be it president, be it minister, be it whatever person's position in the society. The law has a remedy for disobedience. It is left for court to exercise that power. The only thing that I would just draw your attention is that when he was immune, maybe because of the by virtue of the position he's holding, or agreement in the state high court, and the high court is under the jurisdiction of the CJ of the state. So it is very difficult for the CJ of the state or a GPP to prosecute a sitting governor. You understand the point? Because
Yes.
of the politics. That's why during my background I say politics play a greater role for the governors to disobey the court order or to get this kind of delay tactics and so many other technicalities that are involved during the trial. Politics is among them. You understand that? So what I'm saying in essence, governor, if he commit an offense, what if he says a power? There are two reasons. So, some of the offenses I want to make you clear that there are offenses that a governor committed before he came to power.
Mm.
So, if that offense committed before he assumed office, so when he became a governor, he's immune. But after his tenure ends, he can be tried in the court of law. That's what I'm saying. And then another situation that there are so many offenses of embezzlement, offense of corruption, money laundering, and so many other things like similar offenses. If those offenses are being committed while he's in office, the governor, because of the principles of that immunity, because this side, the principle, the essence of that immunity is just to prevent the governors or elected governor or president being distracted from exercising his duties as the executive officer of the states.
In this particular
country. That's why the law says that. So when he is about, please allow him. But when his tenure ends, then you can just bring him to court and he can be tried accordingly.
In this particular case of immunity, so many Nigerians have actually argued that the issue of immunity has been taken overboard, because we've seen situations whereby governors or probably president will be in power for like 8 years. And when you delay, for instance, if he commits that particular issue, maybe in his first year or second year, and he is in power for 8 years, people may actually forget. And if you delay justice, don't you think that's justice denied in totality?
So what I'm saying, do not think about the offenses are classified into two, or matter, yes, either civil, there can be a civil matter and there's a criminal matter. A criminal matter, as far as I'm concerned, is a kind of case that doesn't end. As far as if there is maybe no sufficient evidence against the governor or anybody, and then the person is taken to court, and that guy, maybe he was even released either on bail or for whatever reasons, and then the fresh matter come, which indict or incriminates the individual. That case, it doesn't close like a civil case where there is a limitation act. While in some cases, where it was also time, and then if he didn't challenge it or if you don't do anything, the matter stops there or the matter ends. But in criminal matter, the situation is different. What I'm saying in essence, let's come back to your question.
Yes.
No matter what the gravity of the offense, if the governor committed some offense as a civil, maybe he involved maybe in transaction between him and our company, or as an individual, he buy, maybe you are a car dealer, a sitting governor bought a car from you, he didn't pay you the money, which is even illegal, which is not even allowed in law. So that's why this one is a civil matter because it's a commercial matter issue. Whereby somebody ordered the killing, or for instance during the election, there's electoral offenses, whereby politicians hire the tops to go and commit crime, like maybe arson, murder, and so many other illegalities. Yes, in Nigeria, we know politicians used to hire tax and do this kind of things. So, as a sitting governor, you engage in this kind of dirty acts. And then at that time, the law said that, no, when you are important, it doesn't mean that when you finish your tenure as a governor, that case will be orphaned. And then cases, the way they are being presented in court is different. They are different. For instance, in Yahaya Bello's case, there's a case that may be prosecuted, institution of prosecution, either EFCC or police. If you look at the Yahaya cases, somebody has to write a petition to EFCC. EFCC investigated the matter. After EFCC investigation, that offenses happened when he was in power, under immunity. Now he finished his tenure. Somebody wrote a petition that he embezzled the state treasury to the tune of
110 billion, yeah.
109 billion.
110.
So somebody petitioned to EFCC. EFCC investigated the matter. During the course of investigation, it has to gather the evidence. Because just because somebody wrote a petition cannot afford the court. They have to gather their own evidence. Otherwise, they end in being ridiculed. So they have to gather the evidence. They have to present the evidences. When the evidences are presented to the court will just put him on dock. Then a plea will enter. The last time when the plea was entered for that Yahaya Bello, he said that he was not guilty. But the defendant, the matter was adjourned. So I'm not taking the history of whether his trial or not to forget about this thing. I'm just giving you the background of
yes.
You question that somebody because he do this kind of thing while he power at the end of it not caught. Like I said, I just keep myself repeated.
Okay. But if I can chip something here, Doctor, if I can
just for God to exercise that power for somebody to disabuse the court order.
Okay, if I can put in something here, let me state, because now we are looking at how the court procedures takes place. But one major issue that happened, if you actually followed the Bello's case very well, you discover that after the election in Kuje State, and then we had a new governor in person of Usman Ododo. During that particular problem they were having between the EFCC and the Bello, the sitting governor, was there serving as an umbrella for the former governor. Is there no way the court can actually help in this kind of situation? Because at some point, the former governor was in the premise of the EFCC, of which the EFCC came out clearly and stated that they didn't invite him. And moreover, he came with the former governor. Now, this is the same person the EFCC was actually looking for. Now, this person is in your premise, but in presence of the governor of the state. Yahaya has no immunity as of that particular point in time. Was there no way they can extract him from the former governor?
This is a very simple fact. I don't think it's worthy of considerations as far as I'm concerned. Is somebody with somebody with immunity,
Yes.
and then with somebody he's not immune, and somebody that is not immune came to the house of somebody that is immune, which is a sitting governor, executive governor of Kuje State, and then that somebody that is not immune, that is governor, he's declared wanted, and he's not immune. So there's no way the sitting governor, his immunity doesn't extend to anybody else to the point of law, even his family, even his wife or his relative. The immunity stand on the shoulder of the sitting governor, he alone.
So invariably it was wrong. So invariably it was wrong for the EFC to have allowed him.
Exactly what I'm saying. Even, the closing of Yahaya Bello's and his boss and his successor, it's not as close as his between wife and husband,
yes,
or son and daughters. Do you know that the sitting governor of Kuje now, his wife and children are not immune? I don't know whether you are aware of that.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
I said, what of somebody that is not close to him?
But
what are you talking about?
So
somebody does not get in, whatever sense, there's no way just because somebody you serve as a governor, you have tenure ends, and you come to somebody's house who's immune, that you say that immunity extends you. It doesn't work that way.
So could that be the major reason?
It doesn't work that way. It's just because the Bello, like I told you, politics about that's not what you do, my dad. I don't know whether you understand.
I understand what I understand what you're saying.
Or court process, politics involved. The sitting governor used politics. That's the fun I made during our introduction. If you could remember, that's the point that I was making.
So in this particular case, is there a way the judiciary and the law enforcement agency, is there a way they can be so independent without politics, and then making sure that yes, there is structural functionalism of the system or of the institution itself? Because now we've seen the interplay of politics, be it in the security enforcement and then that of also the judicial process. For maybe the court was actually fair to have listened to both sides. And then if you don't actually approach the court, there is no way the court will be able to say, okay, they are going to investigate you. It is not their responsibility until something is presented.
As far as I'm concerned, I am a lawyer. I can't say the judiciary or that law enforcement agents are not independent as far as I'm concerned.
But there was a case, there was a time where the court ordered that Yahaya Bello should be arrested. There was a time.
That I told you that maybe that point that I was saying, I keep emphasizing on that point. Politics is involved. So
in this particular case, there was a time Yahaya Bello was ordered to be arrested. The court ordered the arrest of Yahaya Bello. And the EFCC tried to make sure that yes, they carry out that particular arrest. But then they had problem because at the point they intended to arrest him, there was an issue between the EFCC and then the other law enforcement agency like the police. And then there was a gunshot in that particular location where he was supposed to be arrested. So in this particular case, now we have a law enforcement agency, we have an anti-corruption agency not having good relationship in terms of getting this particular suspect to the court. So in this particular case, how can we address issues like that using enforcing the court order by the court?
Okay, let me ask you this question. Okay. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you, doctor.
Yes. Because the first time when law enforcement agent has a conflict, is it only during Yahaya's Bello's time that two enforcement agents?
So is there a problem with our constitution on?
There not any no conflict between police and army? How many times in so many other places in all the state of the federation?
Yes, you are a lawyer.
In Abuja and everywhere.
You are a lawyer.
Between police and military, between police and air force, between air force and navy, between navy and army, or between NDLA and the police. This company is everywhere. As far as the person is regular.
Yes, I understand your point, doctor.
Listen to me, my friend.
Yes.
What I'm saying, just politics that I told you, try to understand the point very well. Unless if you want me to come back and just analyze it one by one. When I say politics, this is the kind of politics that I keep emphasizing during the course of our discussion. I said, politics is involved in the trial, in the arrest, in all this kind of what they call it, abracadabra, this political brouhaha that is happening, that took place between the arrest of Yahaya Bello in the premises of the sitting governor with immunity. Because he uses based on the relationship that exists between the ex and the sitting governor, he used politics. This person with immunity, he has his own, what they call it, the agent, security agent, security operatives that give him security, protection, and whatever they give him. And the other thing is they are entirely different security operatives, which is EFCC. When they come, they have politics intact. Despite the fact that they champion the same cause, and then they allow politics to play a role in having that conflict that you mentioned, leading to the extent of, maybe leading to the shot of guns that happened in the case of that Yahaya Bello in the course of arrest. So that's the politics that I play. And like I tried to give an example, this kind of conflict between two political operators, it has been even for substantially, maybe during the military administration, this kind of things happened between police and military, between even military among themselves, between army and air force, between this and this. So many things happen, this kind of things happen. So it is not an exceptional tragedy just because you had the DFCC and police, they maybe had altercations. As far as the Nigerian situation is normal, it happens separately. So it's not an exception, this kind of thing that happens, like I clearly stated in the early discussion. And I keep repeating myself again, politics.
Okay, let me just switch it a bit. And one major issue that was actually raised during the court proceeding was that the former governor, Yahaya Bello, actually filed for bail even before he submitted himself to the EFCC. Do you think that was the best? And that was one of the preview where the judge had to say no, that the case should be adjourned till next year. So did you think that was the best way to go about it for him?
Number one, the matter is I will not even prejudge the matter that is before
the court.
Yes. So, but what I'm saying there, we are just making it as a reference or as what we had in the news, what we saw it yesterday. Yes, that's exactly what happened. And then at the point of law, I cannot say whether the judge is erred in law or not. I don't have the power, I don't have a capacity to the matter that is before the court of competent jurisdiction. And then there was even a ruling, and then I will challenge it now in the public domain. No. I don't think it is proper. It's appropriate for me.
Okay, as a professional.
But I know what happened. The lawyer, what I understand at that case was when Yahaya Bello, before his arrest, when EFCC was looking for him, they already applied for bail. That's what I understand it. Okay. So later when the matter came to court after his arrest, because the offense is a bailable offense. So when it was presented, that his counsel, that J.B. Dawood, which is a very respectable and senior lawyer in the country, everybody has regard for him. He just applied for appeal, for bail.
For bail, yeah.
For his bail. So the judge just look at the letter when that appeal was dated. It was found out that then ordinarily or under the position of law, somebody that cannot apply for somebody's bail before arrest. can't apply. Somebody that is not arrested, how can you apply for his bail? It's not possible in law. So based on that ground, the lawyer, the EFCC lawyer, challenged that application. So
Okay.
that's the ground that the application was being challenged, and he was ordered to be taken under Kuje's custody.
Okay.
So that was about, for me, it's not it's not in my, I don't have power to go and say that what to just say is A, B, C, Z. No, I don't have that power and capacity. I can't do that as a lawyer.
Okay, as a lawyer now, let us round this up from your own perspective. Are there any major lessons to learn with respect to how justice delayed is actually not justice denied?
This is allowed. It's an old adage of law, as old as the history. It's an old adage. So this kind of justice delay, what this thing has to do with Yahaya Bello's case? Just tell me a scenario or relate it with another, maybe something stupid.
No, maybe you didn't get me well. What I meant was that justice delayed doesn't mean justice denied.
He was arrested. He was not even submit himself to arrest. And then the police has the power of it. If somebody is, they can use maximum, what's they call it, reasonable force to arrest him. Or they use all the means to get him arrested. And that was they did, despite the fact, as far as I'm concerned, there was no violence. When the case was started, one was looking for it. At the time when Yahaya Bello was was going to be arrested, he didn't submit himself to the EFCC. Assuming that as with all this kind of altercation between going to running helter-skelter from his house or from his hideout to the sitting governor with immunity, does not even arise. I think at that time when he was invited formally. He didn't honor the invitations. And the police gave them, or the agent that arrested him, the law gives them power to arrest him by whatever means. If to the extent that can use reasonable force. And which they did, they knew, I don't know, either they used force or whatever reason, they know their ways, and they got him arrested. And he was taken to court. So why is the delay there?
Probably the immunity is the delay. Yeah. Probably. It's just that you've quoted the Constitution before now.
It's not only in Yahaya Bello's case.
Yes.
As far as the Nigerian court system is concerned, yes, we have this kind of issue of delay. Yes, because of reason, maybe evidence gathering, some people based on technicalities, and there are so many other reasons that causes the delay. It's not mean that way maybe hold the sitting judge or the court squarely responsible for delaying the judge. Sometimes I'm not saying defending the court, but sometimes it's from the lawyers.
Okay.
They cause the delay.
Okay.
And then sometimes it's from the prosecutors. Yes, I agree sometimes from the judges. So the delay cannot even perceive the blame of the delay. Delivering justice to the court alone. If you do this kind of thing, you are not being fair to the judges or to the courts.
Okay, indeed, this is not justice delayed.
From the prosecutors, from the police, or from the EFCC. Because the law says that before you just take the court, somebody, number one, you have to present your evidences. And then evidences, if you say you had the law, maybe embezzled the state or what or two, you have to gather what evidence do you have, what proof do you have.
Okay, thank you so much, Barrister Salisu Zigao, doctor in this particular profession. It's nice listening to you, and also creating more enlightenment for many Nigerians who are yet to understand the nitty-gritty of this Yahaya Bello's case. And definitely, no matter how strong you are as a Nigerian, you are bound by the Constitution of Nigeria. Thank you so much, Barrister Salisu Zigao, for joining us this morning. So this is how far we can go with Barrister Salisu Zigao discussing the issue of Governor Yahaya Bello's case, which is very, very critical. So many Nigerians are actually expecting Yahaya Bello to be within the curfew of the courts before now. But then, despite the fact that there was an issue between him and the EFCC, we understand that at the end of the day, justice will definitely catch up with everyone who feel that they are better or stronger than the system. The system will always be the system. No matter how bad people paint the judiciary to be, judiciary is always ahead of every one of us. This is how far we can go today on this morning program. I'm discussing with Barrister Sani Zigao. We'll go on a very short break, and when we return, we'll take the newspaper review before we call it a day. Thank you. Welcome back from that short break. And just before the break, we had a very lengthy conversation between myself and Barrister Barrister Salisu Zigao, a PhD holder in that particular field, and explaining the details of the Bello's case and how it is proceeding in the court. So many issues surrounding that particular issue. Many Nigerians were actually expecting that before now, Bello must have submitted himself to EFCC. But then, under the cover of the present governor, he didn't do that. But with time, probably somebody tipped him that, look, it is important. You can't run away from this particular case. Why not face it once and for all? And now he has been sent to the Kuje prison pending the next hearing in the court. And so much to learn from this. When you have an issue, face it directly and don't run away from it. So let us take our newspaper review this morning, and let us start with the first one on the screen there, which is Daily Trust. On Daily Trust today, let's see the directive, if you can pop that up. On Daily Trust today, we have reps ask CBN to address cash crunch. It is very, very obvious that there are so many issues with regarding to the issue of cash. Getting cash from the bank. So many persons have been complaining that when you go to the bank these days, you hardly get even 50 or 20,000 naira. You have money in the bank, but then you can't have access to it. These are serious issues. And on it, just beneath that particular headline, is Apex Bank tightens news on fintechs. Just recently, there was an issue of you transferring just 10,000 naira, and then you'll be charged 15 naira extra for you to be able to make that particular transaction. Most especially those using the fintech, the Opays, the Money Point, the Kuda, whatsoever fintech you are using. That is the implication, and CBN awards Opay for financial inclusion innovation. That's a very good one for the fintech there, Opay, which is one of the most popular one amongst commercial users. And then ECOWAS may formalize Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger exit. That's a very huge blow to the ECOWAS bloc, because this will serve as a retraction in terms of their landmass coverage, because you have Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger exit. These are critical countries, most especially to us Nigerians here. If this country exits ECOWAS officially, then it means we have to also tighten our borders, because it means we don't have good relationship with our neighbors, and they are in the ECOWAS sub-region, a very huge one, and that would be a very huge blow for the ECOWAS. And let us quickly move to the Punch. If we can have the Punch there, so that we can have another look at some of the top stories there. Atiku will be Alliance can can't unseat Tinubu, declares APC. Just yesterday, the Senate President, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation raised alarm that, look, 2027 is a done deal. The 2027 issue should still be within the southern zone, and Tinubu should continue leading the country till 2031. That time there will be vacancy for other persons to fill. So this is a critical issue. We are not yet here in that particular electoral year, but then we started seeing the upbeat towards that particular direction to say that, look, so much is happening behind the scene for 2027. Nigerians are even yet to feel the beauty of governance, and then now we've started discussing issues that has to do with election, and then we see PDP insist on alliance will help to rescue Nigeria. So that's a major one. For the PDP, there is a serious issue within the party folds. Many stakeholders are aggrieved with themselves, and they seem not to serve better as opposition party. So let's take the next newspaper. If you can just pop that up. Any of the newspaper can just go off the screen. Okay, this is Vanguard, and Vanguard says Nigerians groan as cash scarcity compounds hardship. Just last year, and just I remember before the election, so many politicians were crying, neck dry, that they can't have access to their funds. And so many say it was for political reasons. So many say it was to stop the present president from achieving his goal. But today we have the present president. Unfortunately, we are still crying for the same issue, that we don't have money in abundance in our court. So we have so much to do with this particular issue, on the issue of cash crunch in our bank. And cash scarcity is not actually the best for our economy, is yet to get it done. So let us quickly take the Nation newspaper. On the Nation this morning, the front page it shows the president, the picture of the president there, the Minister of Interior, Imperial Mr. Tunji Ojo, and then that of Ms. Kemi Nandap of the Immigration Service, and other persons. I can see the Civil Defense boss also there, and some other persons there. I believe that was during the opening of the Batik Center that was created or that was constructed by the Immigration boss. And then under it we have the Reps Southern Caucus backs tax reform bills. Okay, talks. Then just yesterday also we also saw the Southeasterners, the Southeasterners and senators saying, well, they don't have problem with the bill, but that bill need to pass through so many consultative process. And then on the top left-hand corner of the paper is Edo proposes 60 billion, 606 billion naira, Abia 750 billion, Ondo, and then 655 for 2025 budget. In that particular case of the Edo State, just this morning, we got a report that the NTA correspondent was arrested over the broadcast that he made yesterday during the live transmission. We hope the governor is going to make that release this morning. And then we have fresh 110 billion naira approved for student loan. Nelford definitely is taking the lead in terms of that particular disbursement of funds to students of tertiary institutions. So we have so many of them to discuss with, but that's how far we can go with that particular donation. Let us take the blueprint now. On the blueprint, we have for ease of visa, passport applications. You've made Nigerian proud globally. I think that's the president commending his appointee, the Minister of Interior, that look, you've done so much within the span of time that you assumed office. And then, well, to many Nigerians who have actually experienced what the processes that are within the particular ministry, the processes in the agencies, be it for that of the immigration, be it for that of the prison, be it for that of the civil defense, many are actually applauding Mr. Tunji Ojo for the cleanup he's doing in that particular ministry. And then we have the National Orientation Agency repositioned to fulfill his mandate. The DG has actually come up with so many ways of trying to rebrand the National Orientation Agency, and we hope Nigerians are going to give him a major cooperation, most especially those who make use of their Twitter to blacklist Nigeria globally. So on the top left-hand corner of the blueprint this morning, we have the tax reform bills. the public debate vital for democratic governance. And that's the addition from the Minister of Information, stating clearly that there is need for Nigerians to actually debate this budget before we call it a day on it, and then so many to discuss with it. Let us go back up to the right-hand corner. We have the ex-Super Eagle star Ide signs for Eimba. That's good. Having major of our sport personalities playing outside the country or outside the shores of Nigeria coming back home to actually join in order to promote the country's league. And then just beneath of that particular newspaper, the blueprint, we have addressed Naira's scarcity now, Rep tells CBN. So that's a very huge one, because we are now at the point where our country is not yet there in terms of everyone using technology. You look at the educational level, you look at the poverty index, there's need for cash to still go around. I beg the CBN myself. So that's how far. Okay, let us take the leadership before we call it a day on this. On the leadership this morning, we have on the front cover, 2025 budget presentation may suffer further delay. The expectations before now is that the president should have presented the budget to the National Assembly so that the implementation can start immediately in the first quarter of next year. But then till this moment, we are yet to see that happen. And then the president, the president is expected to actually grace the National Assembly until that is done, before we can get headway with our budget. Why the budget presentation is delayed? According to so many sources, there should be a reason why it is delayed. And if you remember, just yesterday, the National Assembly, this state, the Senate and the Rep this state, that for agencies who are yet to come and defend their budget will not be passed. So that's how far we can go today on the news headline. My name is Issa Nu, discussing so much today and getting ourselves abated with the issues that is surrounding us as a nation. And then we hope and we pray that despite the fact that the Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are going to be, the ECOWAS is going to officialize their exit, we hope and we pray that here in Nigeria, our security system is working effectively to further guide us from the coming of other terrorist attacks from some of these countries. My name is Isanu. Have a wonderful day and stay blessed.